Hi everybody, my name is Harry Jacobs, and just before we get into our video run-through, play-through organization of Duel Arena, I just want to stop and let you know that everything you hear today is my opinion and my opinion only, and just take that with a grain of salt, because this is a production game that I confirmed with the designer that this was a production and not a prototype. You'll often hear me say that I'm not sure whether this is a prototype or a production copy, but this is confirmed. So please, when you're watching this video and you hear some of what I say, keep in mind this is production. I hope that's going to help. It will help you see what I see through my lens. Of course, as a person who might want to consider this game, you'll want to see it through your lens. So just keep that in mind when you're watching the video. Let's get on with it. Time for credits. The arena, everyone knows about it. For how could you not? The greatest of heroes and the foulest of villains travel to it to fight to the death, for the stakes have never been higher. Unending fame and riches are the prize. It has attracted you to forsake your ordinary life and travel to the arena. Now as you stand at the entrance, only one question remains. Will you rise to the occasion or fall among the masses? Your fate is in your hands. Only time will tell. Today we have a new game. It was on Kickstarter and they had canceled it, but yet we have a prototype, I believe, or a production copy. I'm not sure. But it says it's not a toy. Anyway, it's for 2 to 6 players and it's about 30 minutes a player, which sounds a lot. So it sounds like a 3-hour game. But let's take a look at what's in the box. The 2 to 6 player, where you will pick one of 6 heroes or villains and fight each other to the death. And here is Duel Arena. This is the box, and you can see, I'm not sure if those are the heroes or not, but I have a feeling they may be, or some of the characters you're going to come across in Duel Arena. This is the back of the box. It looks like it's a more traditional board where you're going to travel along the board and you're going to do the actions. And at some point in time, you're going to go and roll some dice and fight each other. It looks like it's a pretty simplistic toy, though they said the age is 14 and up, but let's take a look and see if that's correct. So we're going to open this up. Yeah, today we're going off to Tarmacon this afternoon. This is Canada's most northern con. I have a little table set up for North of 60 Gaming, along with Tabletop Games and Eats, which is Ed Butt's new adventure, and I will be running the retail store upstairs, and as well putting a new studio up there. So that should happen in the fall at some point. Yep, this is a prototype by the looks of it. So we have some cards. We have 4 dice. We have up to 6 players, but only 4 dice, but I can correct that. We have what looks like the player cards. There's Colossus. We have a simple rules. Oh, we have some bags for the chits. Oh, and one of them has fallen out. It's a blank chit. Here's the rules. Okay, so I have to admit that this is one of the worst fonts that, and this is not just a critical of this specific game. This color with the brown or the black writing drives me absolutely bonkers. Thankfully, this is available online, because I have a lot of trouble reading this sort of washed out brown on black with this little tiny kind of italics font, And that is one of my criticisms, that rules have to be accessible, easy to read, and not formatted quite like this. Now, I can see right away there's absolutely no examples, so I don't think this game is particularly complicated, but it's also nice to know, like, what is the component list, and I don't see a component list. What the setup looks like when it's set up. We're missing a few of those things. He's got some nice terms, so everything is everything is defined, which is nice. The extra clarification. So extra clarifications gives you a nice little, looks like a glossary of the different cards that might be available. But I don't think it's that turn. It's a roll the dice, take your turn, buy an item. If there's an item bought, then you will duel. If you land on somebody, you will duel. After all, it is Duel Arena. There is the board. Pull that out. That's not too bad for a size board. So we've got some bounties. Skirmish shield. Interesting. So it's not much of a board. You've got some spectators. It's colorful. But we'll see. I don't know how this is going to play out. I'm going to be taking it later to the Tarmogon. Tons and tons. There's that. See, the thing being is that I don't know, when you don't have a component list, when we have so many blank things on each of the boards, and maybe there's stuff coming, because again, I think this might be a prototype. And there are your characters. It looks like there's more than 6 characters, but it's for 1 to 6 players. But there might be 9 characters or 8 characters as per the board. And we have our counters. And I don't think that they at least give you a picture of the counters. No. So, there we are on the back. So we really, these are the gold. This represents the amount of gold based on the value shown on the token. Oh, wow. That is... Okay. Even I didn't see that. If you can read that, there you go. You can't even make it out under the lights, but they are lightly... Because I thought they were blank at first, but they are not blank. So these are the gold. So we have 1,000s. Looks like we got 500s. So that's washed out. Hopefully they'll fix that before they go to production, because I can't see that, and really makes it's colors. But if I was colorblind and had trouble with yellow and orange, that would be deadly. And because the fonts don't really show, you're not going to be able to read it. So, we should be looking at something along like this. There's 500, there could be 1,000s, and there's 100s kind of a thing. So, look, maybe I'll substitute those in. So, there's some criticism here about the components, but this is a prototype. So he should be going back out to Kickstarter and realign it with 6 players. I hopefully will have 6 dice. I think for prototype these are fine, but we can certainly do fancier. And everything else looks good. Duel Arena. There's our characters. We're gonna open those up and show you once we set these up. And these look like 80 by 80 cards. Not my favorite size, but easy enough to sleeve. So that's what is in the box of Duel Arena. So I'm going to take a minute to sleeve and punch and hopefully see what's what. So just as I do this, you can see there is no color differentiation between the 5s and the 10s. So again, wow, if I couldn't see something, that would be deadly. So hopefully if they do a print run, that they're going to correct this, or maybe use something that looks like coins, as opposed to these tokens. At least, or at the very least, put some black here because I can't read it. So here is the outcome of the tokens. We have I believe these are fractured tokens. These are the life tokens. You can see the heart. Now, these are very small, and these are very yucky sausage finger type hands. I would love to see like a 1 and a 5 or a 1 and a 3 on the other side, or just a number of 1s and 3s, because that's a lot of tokens you're going to have to put on your hero if you have a high hit point count. When I can have a 5 and three 1s for 8, as opposed to having 8 individual ones. Also more chance to be sort of splashed over the floor. These are the fracture tokens. They're going to go on your equipment because your equipment wears, so it's a durability thing. These are your character tokens. Now, again, I've got to confirm, I believe this is a prototype. I'm hoping that perhaps we'll see some standees, perhaps. They always make it a little nicer, especially if they look at acrylic. Also, there's always an opportunity to upgrade and deluxify by doing miniatures for those people who might want to pay for miniatures. So just a note that the squares, in my opinion, it would be better off with a standee. And these are, I'm not quite sure what those are. Well, let's take a look at the rules. They are armor tokens. They represent the amount of armor you have. So those are the armor tokens. So right now, we have the cards to do. So I'm going to go into my bag of sleeves and try to match the sleeves. I believe these are 80 by 80. And these, look, they're not tarot, but they're in that tarot range. So I know I have sleeves for that somewhere. So bear with me and I will be right back. And we'll just open those dice. Woo! As you know, I'm a compulsive sleever, so one of the things I looked at is, what size sleeves they are. These are the standard 70-120, often referred to as tarot. And these are the Sleeve King. These are 88 by 125. These are the matte size that you get for Tiny Epic. And you can see that it didn't quite make it. It's too big for the tarot and too small for the 88 by 125 or the matte size. Now there could be another size that I don't actually own, but this just speaks to the fact that when we're talking about things, that these types of things, is that we should be having a standard size and looking at what those standard size sleeves are and making sure that we cut those to the standards, or else people like me who are really weird about wanting to sleeve are going to be like OCD about it. And these look like they're correct. So these look like 80 by 80. They're not going to fit into 70 by 70 for sure. So these are the 80-80, again, Sleeve Kings. And one of the things I am trying to do in the new store is to do a deal with Sleeve Kings so that I can actually carry them. But until I have brick and mortar, I can't actually have them. So hopefully that will happen soon after we open the store so that we can get Sleeve King sleeves in. They are just a slightly less expensive alternative than the types of sleeves that FFG sell. Anyway, let's get those sleeved up and finished off. So here he is. I've all organized it as best I could. There's no inserts. I put the 80 by 80 cards in just a normal everyday sandwich baggie. That was in my bag of bags. I have card sleeves. This is left over from a bag of card sleeves. These fit very well in there. The dice are just loose at the moment. All the coins are in these these little bags that came. There weren't enough bags for that. There was only like 5 bags, but I have these boxes here that I get from Amazon. They're like cheap. These are your fractured tokens, your shield tokens, your life and player counters, and then of course the board underneath. So that is all that's in the box, of course, in the rules. Well, Well, we're here ready to play Duel Arena, and I'm going to take it from a 3-player perspective, and we're taking the monk, who has 10 initiative, 8 hit points, starts with 1,000 gold, and has transcendent movement. So when moving, roll 1d6 twice and choose the one that you want to use to move. We have the barbarian. His initiative is 7, hit points are 12, starts with 1,100 gold. He has blood range, so he gains a hit point every time he wins a duel. And the guardian, he has initiative 4, his starting hit points are 10, he has 1,400 to start. He is tanky, starts with the game with 5 armor. So those are the characters that we are going to be playing with in this game. We have our various dice, and I'm just going to pull some dice out here. I think I put an extra set of dice in here. The yellows or reds, I'm not sure. And we have these cards as well, the tokens. We have our armor tokens, we have our life tokens, and we have some other tokens. And what do those tokens do? So you're seeing like me, seeing it's for the same time. So these are fractured tokens, the green one. They're placed on item cards. So basically they are now whether an item is going towards broke or not. Armor tokens are the black ones over here. And of course we have life tokens right here in the orange. Right there. And these are character tokens. Now the money we're actually going to use, I'm going to pull out. Oh my gosh. I don't use these very often. But I'm going to use my ironclad game counters. The only reason why is that if you can tell me what values are, these values are, I'll tell you, I would give you this prototype to tell you the truth. You if in the comments below, but you tell me what the counters are. So in my opinion, that hopefully if this is a prototype, if it isn't a prototype, that is a problem. I also think, and I haven't put it in front of anybody yet in terms of the color scheme, but I got a feeling this may or may not be color blind friendly. So let's just bring out some tokens here. I'm going to bring out my tokens. And we're going to do that. So give me a minute, and I am going to use these tokens to give each one of their characters a set of money. So further to the setup, you can see now my knight, my guardian is the white meeple, and it's actually got a little picture of a knight. We have a barbarian, which is a little bit of an orc, and we have a monk, who's just a poor red meeple because I don't know where my other meeples are. These were on the table, and the other one is buried. I'm rearranging this room constantly, and I lost sight of where that... It's usually right up there, which I'm pointing off, so we're not there. We have our deck of equipment here, and as you can see, they actually don't get mixed in because each spot here represents a piece of equipment or an action of some sort, and you'll be able to buy a piece of equipment, and we'll go over those rules in a little bit. We have... Over here, you can see I've given money, so we have 1,000, we have 1,100. And if you haven't seen these before, these are absolutely freaking amazing. I love these things. It's the same you find in brass, if you bought the deluxe version of brass. But these are amazing. They're very, very expensive. So we got our meeples set up. So we're ready to go. This setup took me about 5 minutes. So far this game meets one of the criteria of a 5-5-5 game, in which it's a 5-minute setup. So the game is very talisman-ish. You have an inner and outer board, and you can see the different paths here on the arrows. Again, though, green and yellow. Red green. I guess it's a good thing they didn't use red green, but we have very orangey. So this could be lost. So red, green, blue, yellow. So there are some issues here with a good thing I am not colorblind, and I'm sorry if you are colorblind. There's nothing I can do about this. So this is a talisman-ish game. You're going to go around the board, and you're going to duel the different players, and then you're going to go into the arena and roll your dice at some point. And for that, we have, of course, my handy-dandy rice dice roller. So as you gain equipment, you're going to duel. You can, of course, take in equipment and armor into the duel with you as you collect it along here and buy it. When basically you're going to buy the equipment along the way. If you land on a space of an already bought item, you can go off and duel the guy that owns the item. So, but we're going to go over those rules a little deeper. But basically, this is the game. You're going to go around the board. You're going to there's different spots, like you can fight the environment in a mystic grotto or the dragon lair. Other ones where you can fight everybody in a big mass battle where everybody's going to roll dice. So, let's get to it. I think the overview of this game is going to be fairly quick. We will not play to the end. It's about 30 minutes a person. I suspect that it might be longer if you're healing. I don't know, but let's get into it and start playing this game. Thanks very much for the publisher and designer to shoot me a copy so we can get this video out for you to learn how to play. Again, I'm going to clarify with him whether this is a prototype or a regular production copy. Because if this is a production copy, this game may play well, but if you looked at this game from the beginning of my video, I was not very kind to some of the components. I'm okay with the board, except for the colors. I think the colors need to be a bit more standoutish, but I mean, they do have icons, so that should help. Here's a dual target player, so should help with the icons, but I think overall, I would have liked to see the board a touch bigger, perhaps bigger spaces, different fonts. You know that I have issues with reading sort of black on this brown here as I gotten older. So just keeping those in mind anyway. So we're going to go off and let's just see how this plays. We're going to play from the perspective of the Guardian, the Barbarian, and the Monk. One of the other changes, just as we get started here, and I'm going to get rid of this shadow in a minute, is that here it says we start with 5 armor. I've put dice here. Now the only reason I've done that is because these little counters, not a big fan. So we're probably going to substitute dice where we have counters. It's just, A, it's easier for you to see what's going on, and B, it's easier for me to manipulate with my big fat sausage fingers. Keep that in mind. So let's get started. In order to figure out who goes first, we're going to use their initiative. And the Monk is the highest initiative at 11. Then we have our Barbarian and then our Guardian. So keeping in mind that using initiative to go first, we have our Monk going first because his initiative is 11. We have our Barbarian initiative 7. And we have our Guardian initiative 4. Basically, all we're going to do is we're going to take our dice and we'll use this big red one and we're going to roll. We have a 5 for our Monk, who is this little red guy, and he's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, maybe 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, he lives here. 5. 1, 5. Okay. He lands on the Bracers of Strength. So he will have the option of buying the Bracers of Strength. And they are color-coded. So I have found it. There is the Bracers of Strength. The price is 40. It's armor. It's two-handed. Makes sense. It's bracers. Durability 6. +1 damage. Whether you deal damage. Whenever you deal damage. Can also equip melee shields up to two-handed with this. Okay, so this is going to buy it, and he's going to buy it for 40. So he's going to spend one of his 500s, and he's going to get 460 back. 460, there we go. And the Monk is now, we keep these in secret because we as fighters do not reveal until we get ready to the arena. So we know we bought it. When we buy it, we put the fracture tokens on. Now in this case, we're not gonna. We'll do it when we reveal it, and we are ready to go at this point. Next up would be our Barbarian. There he's right here. He rolls a 4. It's okay, he jumped out. He winds up with a jagged blade. So we're going to go and look at for the jagged blade. Hopefully we can find it quickly. Thunder Spear, Burning Alchemist. There's the jagged blade. Now, in theory, we know who has them, but we choose it as we do. It has a durability of 4. It's one-handed. Deal +1 damage whenever you deal damage. He's going to take that, and we'll put it here for now, but we don't really reveal it until we do that. Again, so we have to mark with a fracture token that this is already bought, and this is bought. So this is one thing we didn't think about when we are building this game, that we have to put these tokens on and these little fracture tokens. So we're going to roll for our Guardian. He's going to roll a 6. Puts him up to the repair spot. That means he doesn't get to do anything. At that point, that is the end of the round. We come back over here. That is the round. We roll the dice, we move, we buy a piece of equipment. That's it. Now we're going to roll our dice, and we're going to start with our monk again. He rolls a 1, so our monk is going to move here. There's nothing to repair at this point. However, we have triggered a duel because we're on the same spot. So the Guardian, who has nothing other than some armor, is perfectly fine, and we're going to say that he is going to put his bracers on. Now that has a durability of 6. So I'm going to grab a dice here. It's just as easy to use a 6-sided dice than it is to try to play with those little tiny counters. I've got lots of 6-sided dice here. There we are. There's a 6-sided dice on the card. So that's not 9, that's an actual 6. Then all we're going to do is we're going to take a dice each. And the bracers, does it give him a plus advantage? Two-handed. It deals +1. Okay, so it does +1 damage. All we're going to do is take a dice. So we have a red, and do we have a white? I don't know if I have a white. 6-sided dice. Just so we can keep, sort of we have a pink. Okay, so the pink is going to be our knight, and we're going to roll up against the red. And what we're going to do is roll our 2 dice. Red monk beats the knight. So basically, armor is going to get dinged down to 1, so he's not really taking any damage. But he not only takes 1 damage from the hit, he takes 2 damage, so he's down to from 6 to 5, 6 to 5 to 4. And he has to pay the monk $50 for losing the meat. So he's going to take 50. There's a 50. And give our monk a 50. And that all is what a duel is. That's it. So I'm going to have to assume, because I've been through the rules, I've just looked at the rules again, that's how armor works. That's how typically armor works. It absorbs damage until it's basically beaten. So we'll work it that way. It is now the barbarian turn, so every time you land on a space, so it's conceivable that the barbarian, if he landed here, would have to fight both of them, and this, of course, is down to 5. Because it's broken at this point. So, sorry, the green, so we're going to roll our yellow. We just finished our duel. It's the monk's turn. The guardian moved. Now it is our monk's turn. Monk is going to roll his dice. He's going to move 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. He can look at a flame shield. And according to his rules, because he has that, he can actually use the flame shield, which is 60. So he is going to spend he's got his 100. He'll get 40 back. He'll get his 40 back. Takes his flame shield. It's one-handed against 4 armor. When you buy this, deal +1 damage. So he's going to wind up getting 4 armor. So we'll go in our bag of dice. And we'll grab hopefully a 6-sided dice somewhere. We've got lots of dice, not necessarily all 6-sided. Oh, there we are. Nope, that's a percentile dice. That does not help me whatsoever. There we are. So he's going to gain 4. And this should actually be here for his there. That's okay. So he's gained 4. Okay, that is his turn. And that is all she wrote. Now, generally, again, if he has more shields, but I think we will have backpacks versus, so there should be, you only can equip so much, and then you can still buy, and it'll be on your pack horse, or your servant will carry it around for you. Anyway, our barbarian is going to move. Barbarian is going to move 1. The barbarian is allowed to repair. When you repair your fractured tokens on equipment. So he really has nothing to clean on. Or actually he can repair his fracture token, which puts him back up to 5 because he can repair a fracture token. Actually, it's an armor, that's right. So he doesn't have a fracture token, it's just armor. So we're going to say 4. Or 5, I should say. Again, anyway, we're going to have another duel. So we're going to have a yellow versus our pink, the Guardian. Now the Barbarian only has 1 sword at the moment. And he has the jagged blade. So it adds +1 damage whenever you deal damage. So he is going to use his +1 blade. The pink is the Guardian. 6, the Guardian has 1. We are going to take a hit in the durability. So the durability goes down from 4 to 3. 4 to 3. And he is going to take 1 life damage, which is his starting hit points were 12. So there we are. We will use markers for that. So we'll put a marker on him, even though it's tiny. There we go. So he has 1 damage. And of course he has to pay 50 to our Guardian. There he goes. Now it is our Guardian's turn. He has to roll his dice to move. And we have to put a little fracture token here because we bought it. He's going to roll 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now he can buy the axe, the rage axe. And so, which is good. So he would buy the rage axe. Where is the rage axe? There's the rage axe. It's 85. But he's okay with that. He's got lots. So he just played 100. So he's going to get 15 back. And he has a rage axe. We come back to our monk, who's over here. He's going to roll the dice. He's going to roll 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So one of the rules I kind of forgot, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, is that every time, if you land on bounty, you get 150. And 200, actually, if you land on it. 150 for landing and 150 for passing. In this case, they just get 50 each for passing. And we have a spiked guard. I don't think he's going to buy it. He's good. He says, I'm good for now. No attack, of course. And then we go to our barbarian down here. Our barbarian says 2. 1, 2. Our barbarian has a blade, but he could buy this. It's 60. He says, I think he likes that, actually. So he's got plenty of money. It's 500, so he's going to get 440 back. 440 back. And that's the end of his turn. Now we are at our Guardian. Guardian rolls 1, 2, 3. So the Guardian is here. We have a fracture token here, of course, because he bought the axe. We are now going to have a battle. So basically, he is going to use his rage axe, which is 2-handed. After winning a duel target player gains 1 die +6 to duel rolls. After winning a duel, the duel target player gains 1 die +6 to duel rolls. Ah, the target player. Okay, interesting. So he's going to take his rage axe. and he's going to be pink for the Guardian, red for the Monk. The Monk has his bracers and his shield. Who's going to win? 6. 6 is pink, which is our Guardian. The Guardian smacks our Monk. So according to Raging Axe, the Monk is going to get, this is a +1 to a 1d6. So I'm just going to use this orange counter as a 1d6. So as a result of the battle and the barking dogs, so our durability goes from 5 to 4 because we've used our axe. The Monk used his bracers, so he goes down to 4. This starts at 4, so he's from 5, he goes down to 4. So basically we have a 7, 11, and 10 hit points, and we're going to take that off now that we have some dice. And that is all she wrote. And basically that's it of the game. You go around now, you do have an inner track, so let's just say if we can trigger an inner track. So who is next? It is our Guardian that fought our Monk, so we're back to our Monk. The Monk's going to roll a 2, 1, 2, so he could heal. So he would heal back up to 8. Yeah, so there we go. The Barbarian rolls. He rolls a 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. He rolls in the bounty, which means he picks up 200. 200. The Guardian moves again. He rolls a 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. He can buy a piece of armor, which is fine. And then at this point, he could turn into the inner track where you have, you can curse, you can repair, you can duel a target player, you can curse or paralysis, you can buy a lasso, and there's a number of things you can do, and you come back to your track, and you can go up this way. So generally, you're going to go up this way and come around down and over, perhaps back up and then around, so you could stay in the inner, like talisman-like, and you have your choice there. But I think that's enough to give you an idea of how this game works. I think we're going to go up. We're going to have some final thoughts around the game, and we're going to talk about it. So this is a tough one because, pardon me, this is a tough one because I got this from Everything Board Games, from a publisher who had put this out onto Kickstarter. I'm going to have to confirm that. And of course, the Kickstarter did not work for him. In which case, then he published it, self-published, found somebody to make the game for him, and off he went. The quality here, so if we want to talk, let's talk, of course, in theme, which is one of the first things that I always look at. In essence, this theme should work. I mean, it's very talisman-like, battles. I like the theme. You've got a little fantasy theme, a battle arena theme that's abstracted out, which is fine. So, it's an easy game. It reminds me of a game that I would have played maybe in the 60s or 70s, very Milton Bradley-like, which is fine. But I'm looking for a theme that's a little bit more immersive. And after 2 turns or 3 turns, whatever I did not feel immersed in the arena. This did not draw me in and say, yeah, I really care about these guys. So I'm saying the theme's okay. It's okay. One of the things the rules were fine. I think the rules were lacking. Like, what does armor do? I still don't know. I'm assuming this is how armor works. You put your armor on, and as you use it up, when you get damaged, it goes down. This tells me that, even without looking at the rules, that the way it's playing is that this game could go on for hours. If we add more armor, now let's just say I take this off, we can go, we're only damaging them basically one at a time until I can get a kick-ass weapon, 1 or 2 at a time. So these duels could go on for quite a while, and I think they were saying this game could go 90 to 3 hours. I can't imagine in this mechanic doing that. So in the rules again, they're okay. They present the game pretty good. There's a little weakness there. I'm pretty neutral on the rules. If we look at the mechanics, I can't give it a passing grade. I don't think this game is as deep as Talisman. I could see where if you're trying to get a talisman feel but without the complexity, you've probably done well here. But I like a little deeper immersive feel, and Talisman gives me a deeper immersive feel, and when I'm playing one of my characters, I feel much more immersed. The theme, the mechanics work, but I'm not really enjoying it. I mean, I'm not really enjoying it. Component-wise, I don't know what to say. You can see me wanting to substitute components because I did not like these. I did not like the money, and if you watched the earlier, and I advise you to go back, you can't tell one money. Nothing's printed. At least with this, I have color differences. I can read that this is an actual 100, and so that's important. The counters, meh, too small. That's what I say. The board, too small because I can't put the fractured tokens on at the same time as the tokens here. Quality of life here doesn't exist. It's a straight for me. I shouldn't have done that. I am sorry. I apologize. Solo ability, non-existent. I wouldn't even want to play this two-handed. You could easily enough play it two-handed because, you could just roll 2 dice like I did. There you go, yellow one. But I wouldn't even be compelled to play this two-handed soloable. So there's nothing here that really strikes me as solo friendly. Value? I don't know what the price is. This game is not published yet. If this game was more than $25, I don't think I would pay for it. This is not a $40 to $50 game whatsoever. Again, it has a Milton Bradley-ish feel. It's abstracted. You go around, you buy stuff, you earn money by doing duels, but the money really is all here, basically. You don't get a lot of money from here until you pass go. You'd be better off to say, first one down or the first one to lose all his money or something like that. I think the game needs to be sped up. So some house rules maybe. Would you do double damage maybe? Things like that. Maybe you roll 2 dice when you have a weapon. So each piece of weapon rolls 2 dice. Something like that. So overall, I have to say, can I recommend this game? Take this with a grain of salt. For me, I wouldn't recommend it. That's my lens, as I explained earlier at the beginning of this video. But you may have a different lens. You may say, my kids really would like this. And a kid could like it, because the kid would probably like a fast action. I can get some equipment. I can battle my dad, roll some dice, and 2 or 3 hours later, someone's going to win in a duel. Because you also can trigger duels by landing on not only their spaces, but when you land on a space here that's been bought. And so once the game gets going, there'll be a lot of duels, because eventually you're just going to buy stuff and put a lot of stuff down for duels, especially if you go into this inner track once you're armored up, let's just say. Keep in mind that this is very subjective. This is my opinion. I'm entitled to it. Others may have different opinions. Please, if you want to go down into the comments and express your opinion about what you think from what you saw in this game, let me know. Because you could say, this is the greatest thing since sliced bread, and I respect that. Because this is a safe spot that we can express our opinions in a good, happy way. But that is all for now. My name is Harry Jacobs. I am the North of 60 Gamer. I'm sorry that I couldn't do bring a better game to the table, but every game has to have its day, and this one was today. So keep that in mind. If you like what you saw, hit the like button. If you want to subscribe, please smash that subscribe button. Hit notifications if you want to be notified. Create comments down below. Contact me through Facebook. I'm around. I hang on Hyperverse more or less right now. But I am on Board Game Revolution, everything board games, solo board gamers, board games for one, all those types of places. Look for me, say hi. I do have my own channel, North of 60 Gaming. You're welcome to join that. Tabletop Games and Eats is something new that we're trying. I advise you go over there. You'll see some stuff from me there eventually as well. We're hoping to get up a Tabletop Games and Collectibles Facebook page soon, and an email where you can contact me. So there's a lot of things happening. But that's it for now. Please stay safe and enjoy your day.